Hello. Looks like we are live. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Gratitude to everybody who has decided to show up on this beautiful Sunday. I hope everybody had an awesome Thanksgiving. I know I did. I was in beautiful Seattle. I did a lot of hiking in nature. I ate some amazing food, which I cooked myself. I was visiting my dearest friend, Darlene Christopher. She's an amazing astrologer and reader outside Seattle. So if you are looking for an amazing astrologer and reader, and you're in the Seattle area, please check out Darlene Christopher of Christopher Lamps. Yes, I'm godmother to her children, and we met about 25 years ago. We were working at the same metaphysical bookstore, and it was a lot of fun. All right, I want to take a couple minutes just to say hi to everybody, to give gratitude to people who decided to spend an hour with me today. So let's do that together. Cindy Hillman, you were the first. Hello, Galveston Island, Texas. Welcome. P. Powers, hi from Chicago. Deborah Cottrill, hello. Pierre Walker, welcome. Carol Charpentier, oh, hello. Edmonton, oh, okay. Lynn Hansis, hello. Patricia, welcome. Canadian perspective, love the Canadian perspective. I grew up on the Canadian border, so I appreciate the Canadian perspective. Harmony is here, hello, welcome. Pegas, Maura Anderson, welcome. Crystalis, Noel, yoo-hoo! Our moderator extraordinaire. How did Mila get, oh, that's not Mila. Oh my God, there's a cat here that looks just like Mila. Mila, did you see this kitty cat that just came to the door? Wow, that was crazy. A cat came to the door that looked just like Mila. So evidently Mila has a new friend. That was very bizarre. Twin Flames, Jamie, hello. I think I said hello to Renee and Corio. Ha'ol Impish Artist, Jennifer, Elizabeth Carroll, Margaret Bonet, welcome. Jane Finley English, Laura Sue Reagan Clement. That was so weird. This cat looked like she could be the twin of Mila. So it looks like Mila has a new friend in the neighborhood. Phyllis Boren, Missouri, Momo 3. Arlene Halise, Andrew Asmir. Okay, we'll keep saying hi to people as we go along, but I always want to just start off spending a couple minutes giving gratitude to the community here. For people who are just joining us, yes, she has a doppelganger. I looked out the window, I'm like, what are you doing outside? And then I look over and she was sleeping. I'm like, what the heck? It was very strange. And she knew to come to this door. Isn't that weird? So Mila has a new friend in the neighborhood. Okay, so for those people just tuning in, my name is Whimsy. I'm a tarot reader. I work usually by phone. I was asked if I have gift cards for the holidays. I always offer gift cards, and if you are buying a gift card for a friend, you can just go to tarotwithwhimsy.com. The information is in the description below. And when you click on make an appointment, there's a little thing that says gift card, and you can just send the gift card to whoever you want to give a reading to. So we'll be here for an hour. It's been an interesting couple weeks. It's interesting to tune in to, how's the sound? Can everybody hear me okay? Oh, thank you. Yes. It's interesting to try and tune in to Mr. Trump, Donald. Oh, hello from Oklahoma, John. Hi. It's interesting to tune into Donald Trump right now because his energy is very low and very stressed, and he doesn't feel good. I don't feel good when I'm in this energy. Thank you, Corio. I also feel when I go into Donald Trump's energy that I feel a little dizzy when I go in. I feel stressed out. I feel like I'm dragging, like I have a bug or something. And I don't have the same energy levels I used to have before. So it's possible that he's not on the same medications he was on before, anything to give him energy or to help with his energy levels. Because that has changed. It's changed so much, his energy levels, that if you compare Donald Trump's energy levels now to the amount of stress he's expected to be under for the year, I don't know if he will have the strength and the energy to complete another run for presidency. Because when you go into this energy that he's expressing, which is very weak, and you think about the fact that he's got a campaign to run, which is extremely hard, even on a man who is half Mr. Trump's age, combined with the fact that he's also going to have to be defending himself in the impeachment hearings, it's looking like resignation by February, unless something really changes, because he's not doing well. And the physical burden of all of this, it could be the conversation that happens over Christmas break with his family. I thought it was going to happen last year, to be honest with you. But I just don't see him having the energy to be able to handle both the impeachment hearings and being on the campaign trail for a year. Just, it's not there like it once was. Thank you, Carol. It's very sweet of you. So I'm going to be here for an hour, and Carlsbad, California. Hi, Marjorie. I'll be here for an hour, and we're going to do a blitz, and I will be here answering anybody's blitz questions that they want. I had a fun dream last night where I was walking with Mike Pence, and he was feeling really down, and I was trying to cheer him up in the dream. And he was saying to me, now I'll never get to be president. And he was telling me that he knows he was chosen by God. He was the chosen one to be the president. And he's so sad that he messed the whole thing up. And I was like trying to cheer up Mike Pence in the dream and saying, no, you'll still be the president. You'll be the 46th president. You might only be the president for 6 months or, but you'll still be the president. So it was this weird dream. So there is this feeling of resolution, that this whole thing is coming to an end. It's a feeling like this whole thing is coming to an end. The impeachment hearings, both in the House and in the Senate, are not going to go well for Donald Trump because everything has been timed beautifully by the FBI and the intelligence agencies. Also, I think there's going to be about 4 or 5 more indictments coming. Remember when I had said last time when we were all together that most of the people that were part of this plot have been arrested, charged, or are about to be charged? The only people left to be charged is you have Kushner. He's facing legal problems, and the kids are facing legal problems because they signed a lot of the documents for the Trump businesses. But I think Giuliani as well is going to be prosecuted. But we already have Julian Assange arrested, Manafort arrested, Flynn is facing sentencing. So a lot of the people that were part of the original plot have already been captured. So I don't see how, given the trajectory of where the investigation is, I just don't see this president being able to move forward. And it really goes back to what Mueller had done, which is that when he had the noose around him, which was fine, he was able to say, oh no, we're closing up the investigation. But what they did was they simply chopped up the investigation and gave it to branches of the FBI and SDNY. And there's also cases in California and Florida that haven't gotten a lot of attention. So that's now coming out, that ongoing investigation, how they broke up the investigation. A lot more is coming out with SDNY. It's interesting to remote view the SCOTUS, the Supreme Court, because there are a lot of people on the Supreme Court, there were a lot of judges on the Supreme Court that didn't feel that there was any reason to take up the case of whether or not Trump could resist showing his taxes. And it was interesting, the first person we remote viewed was RBG, and she said she could see no justification for it and that there were more interesting cases on the docket. It seems that from the remote view that we did I think it was a month ago, it would appear that Justice Roberts was on the fence, and that's why the case may be taken up, is because the swing vote was Roberts. And we talked about that a month ago. All right, so if people want to tell me what they want me to look at, obviously the moderators are going to get first pick. Yeah, Maria Bettina's boyfriend. Yeah, but that's only the beginning of the end. Remember when Mueller, when we looked into the remote view, Mueller was following the dirty money, the bribes, and it took him all the way to DC. So that means that the FBI was on the doors of Congress and the Senate, etc. And that's probably why Nunes and anybody else that possibly took foreign bribes is the next chip to fall, because they did the outer people first, like Papadopoulos, and they just kept moving in until eventually they wound up. They had a pretty good idea who in DC was involved in this, and now, unfortunately, we're going to start seeing the politicians going down, and that's because, as far as the FBI is concerned, nobody is above the law, and they're just going to follow the money, follow the investigation. So that's what happened. Remember when I had said, and I want to review this again so that because I had a realization a couple days ago and I wanted to share it with people. Remember when I had said that the function of Donald Trump's loans, when Donald Trump received loans from Russia, it was because he could not get loans in the United States. So what Russia was doing, because of the embargoes, they couldn't get trade out in regular ways. And so after the fall of the Soviet Union, the black market became far more powerful. And it was involved in things like human trafficking, drugs out of certain areas, guns, etc. And so what Russia needed was they needed a place in order to do illegal business, because legal business had basically been sanctioned and embargoed after the fall of the Soviet Union. So what they were doing is they were taking people of interest and they were setting up fake businesses all over the world, particularly in areas where they wanted to have Russian influence. So one of the places that Putin was interested in was the financial sector in New York, right? He was also interested in Florida because that East Coast, they were running women, drugs, and there were weapons, etc., up and down the East Coast, right? And then they were taking that money, and that money was going into AEB Bank, and it was going into Deutsche Bank, and then they were turning around and taking that money, those profits, and they were bribing more people, right? So I make a bunch of dirty money, and then I hide it in Deutsche Bank or in AEB Bank, and then I launder it by putting it into fake businesses like Mar-a-Lago or Trump Tower. And in this way, the real business is able to go on under the table. And the real business was to help Russia make inroads politically in those areas where they had been sanctioned. And so where you see Trump businesses set up by Russia, you will see illegal business dealings, because that is real. They're really fronts for illegal Russian business. So this answers the question about why Putin did not want a Trump Tower in Moscow. The reason he didn't want a Trump Tower in Moscow is because Putin already had Moscow. It would have served no function because of the arrangement he had with Trump to set up a Trump Tower in Moscow. He needed a Trump Tower in places like Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and Istanbul, anywhere where he felt that there were people to compromise, particularly either places that were part of NATO that were blocking trade, or former allies of the former Soviet Union. So that was basically how the scam went. And they were also compromising people by getting tapes, etc., so that then you became basically owned by the Kremlin and you couldn't get out of it. And they took very nice care of you. I mean, Trump was very well taken care of. And in exchange, he had to allow the Russians to simply use his name and his businesses in order to do their business. So that's basically how it looks to me as a remote viewer. All right, we're going to go ahead. We're going to do Trump business got kicked out of Toronto. Yeah, so definitely they would love to get into Canada. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hi, Charleston. Hi, Margaret. Let's go ahead and we're going to do a simple prayer. And then I want to do a general reading for the week. And then after we do a general reading for the week, I've been asked if I could go ahead and look at the how the finances are going to be in the coming months, because I know a lot of people are worried about a potential crash. All right, so let's do this. All right, I want to call on white light protection for myself and my viewers as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our good angels to be with us. Give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower us on our journey so that we can all make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, for the people we love, and for the planet. And with that, I say amen. Let's go in and see what the coming weeks are going to show. It's good to be back. That was a great vacation. I had people writing saying, what happened to you? Thanksgiving holiday. That's what happened. And it was awesome. I made a cranberry, walnut, apple stuffing, and it was perfect. I visited my dear friend who owns the Edge of the Circle Books in Seattle. So if you ever are in Seattle, you have to visit Edge of the Circle Books. That's where I used to work as a reader for about 5.5 years. Thank you, Patricia. And I was visiting my friend Robert, and I bought a whole bunch of new tarot cards, and I bought runes that are gorgeous, and I'm just really excited to use them. Okay, so it's interesting. There's a feeling going into next week of disengagement. You can see the base card for the coming week is the Hanged Man, and that's to disengage or to let go or to hang something up. And then there's the Scholarship card. So Hermit is to go it alone. It's also a card of scholarship and knowledge. It's also a card I often will associate with the winter time, particularly February when there's snow on the ground. I've talked about this in the past, and that's because the hermit time, the time of hermitage was the time when you could, the earth was so cold and frozen that you could not plant. And so people hunkered down and studied in the winter. And then in the spring and summer, they worked the land. So the time of study is the winter time. And that seems to be the energy we're moving into collectively, to seek the light, to seek knowledge, to hunker down and learn. But something is being hung up, something is changing, something that we were holding on to in the past. Here we have the Lovers card as the first card. It's a major arcana card. And what's interesting here is we have 3 major arcana cards as the 3 cards. Lovers often will involve a sacred contract between ourselves and Spirit. She looks towards God, or Spirit, he looks to her for guidance. The female is represented as the vessel with that God sends life through the vessel. Women, the miracle of channeling life. This comes through the woman. So in the more earth-centered traditions, it's actually the female who embodies the light, or the bringing down of the moon, if you are of that tradition, and the man looks towards her to become closer to the light of God. She is the vessel of the light of God. So this is often a time of connecting to spirit, sacred contracts, and re-examining contracts. How can we move closer to God or closer to spirit? It feels to me, because of the type of cards we have here, that lies, dishonesty, false teachings are passing away, and instead, this is a time of spiritual awakening and a time of true knowledge. The fluff is disappearing, and the truth is being sought. What crosses us? Defensiveness, 7 of Wands. We also know that this is the environmentalist card, the water protectors, the people who defend the land. So some aspect of the card chart suggests that there's some conflict coming in over the week. But I have to say, because of the fact that we pulled those base cards and that first card with the Lovers card, that no matter how hard people may try to keep the truth from coming out, the truth is coming out. I don't think with this kind of positioning, we're going to be able to see information suppressed. So I don't think that Trump is going to be able to win his appeal in Supreme Court. I think that we're going to see the documents coming out, and I think we're going to see his financial documents coming out. It's interesting. He said he was going to happily show them to everybody once he was audited. Remember that when he started the campaign? And now it's going all the way to the Supreme Court to prevent people from seeing them. So much for those promises, right? What is above? Holding the coin, frugality, self-examination. See, this is all these cards are talking about is really stuff is going seriously, serious examination. I think Nunes is in a lot of trouble, but if everybody wants me to, I can go, when I do the blitzes, we can go and look at that. Healing is coming. Chariot, movement, and a new contract. Yeah, I think that definitely they're going to, during the hearings, this case, the evidence against Trump is going to continue to mount. You can see the 3 of Pentacles moving in. I see this as a contract card. It's also a Pentacles, which I read as weeks. Pentacles are weeks, Wands are months, and Swords are years. So, and this is 3 and a 4. I think within 3 or 4 weeks, we're going to see so much evidence against this president, it's going to be very hard to avoid it. Can everybody see this? New contracts, examining, 3 to 4 weeks. Things are moving. I think that things are going to be accelerating with the president. Following the money. Remember when we had talked about the fact that Pelosi was talking to troops. She was looking at money. She was trying to figure out where the money had gone. She had filed new reports. She had spoken with the military to find out what had happened with the budget, that there was missing money or money being moved from one place to another. More of that appears to be coming out. It's weird. It's almost like Trump doesn't want to defend himself. It's almost like at this point he wants to be impeached or removed. In relationship to him, 8th house is the 2 of Swords. Hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. This is also obstruction or perhaps an inability to help, even to the point, refusing even possibly to participate. There's a discussion now about whether or not he should or should not legitimize the hearings by having his attorneys participate, because he just doesn't feel well. When I go into his energy, I don't feel well. I don't know if he's going to put up much of a fight at this point. Part of him really wants to leave. Just the Hanged Man and the 2 of Swords in the 8th house. Hopes and fears, putting the past behind us. The Queen of Swords is also justice in a sense. Very different than the Queen of Wands, who establishes boundaries. The Queen of Swords is about putting the past behind you. It's about moving on to the next chapter. And then the final outcome is the Four of Wands, which is a celebration. Because it's a wand card, I often will read it as the Four of Wands as a time of April or springtime. It's typified by a bride and groom entering the wedding canopy, the celebration. Also, because it's spring, we can see flowers and fertility emerging. The Ace of Swords is moving in as a clarification card, victory after tears. It's also my January card. And a new offer comes in the 8th house with the Two of Cups. And then the hopes and fears to move on. It's talking about endings and moving ons. And then the clarification is a celebration. 3 of Cups over the 4 of Wands. I'm going to go ahead and predict that the president is probably not going to be able to defend himself because of mounting evidence. I think there's going to be future arrest. And I think we could see a resignation as early as February. And the spring looks very good as well. So I think probably by spring we're going to know who the Democratic nominee, where we're headed in terms of the Democratic nominee. But I don't see this president fighting. It's a very different energy than where he was at a month or 2 months ago. He doesn't fight. He's exhausted. There's no, he's worn out. That's basically what I see. All right, so we're going to do the economics. This is a group reading for everybody who's concerned about our finances. And I want to buy property, so I'm hoping the prices will come down in Seattle. Not holding my breath. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to look at our finances for the group. Anything we all need to know about our Roth IRAs, our 401s, our investments, our real estate market, how it's going to be affecting us. Let's take a look how we're going to be doing financially, everybody. That was interesting, right? Trump's like not even fighting anymore. All right, finances for the group. Meg, let me answer some questions real quick before I do that. Yeah, I worry about his mental health. I have empathy for everyone, and I have empathy for Mr. Trump. I think he's a very sad person. It's not a good time for him. He needs to go take care of himself. I was going to be in Australia in January. I have to look at the finances on it. I was in Seattle, which is where I'm from, for the holidays. Oh, thank you, Humini. Thank you very much. Thank you for the trees. So we're just going to have to see how it goes because I've got some financial stuff going on as well. So let's look at the finances for everybody. All right, where we are at right now in the financial world, strife, research, the Hermit card. I think we're going to see some bumps. I think that we could see some bumps. I think that the people that watch the market, the economists, the people who watch the market are going to be very concerned about this bumpiness or this strife or this instability. But you can see the Hermit card or the Scholar's card moving in. This feels to me like the experts are very much watching it and are concerned about the instability they're seeing. Where we are at right now actually looks pretty good. We have a nice Page of Pentacles in the first house, which could be that people are financially stable. The job market looks still looks fairly good. Receiving coin, job offers, messages of financial messages. It's also ground messages in terms of communication. But it's a coin. I often read this as somebody getting a job or negotiating work. This is an employment card and then a negotiation card over it. We can see the miser's card. What I call the Four of Pentacles is to examine, or frugality, holding the coin. So there is some kind of contracture, a financial contracture we see in December. This may not be the best year in terms of sales for Christmas because of this Four of Pentacles and the Chariot moving in. There's something about possibly the Feds regulating or doing something that's going to cause a disruption in the market, but it has to do with some long-term concerns they have. You can see a King of Swords crossing with a Four of Pentacles. So some kind of legal action or some kind of action coming in that causes a constriction in the market. Where we're at right now, again, you can see an Empress card. So many people are doing very well in the market right now. And this is about fertility, abundance, wealth. And we can see if the fact that the first house is the Page of Pentacles again suggests that right now people are doing fairly well. But we're also seeing a lot of movement cards. Knight of Wands is a movement card. Chariot is a movement card. Hopes and fears. People are really concerned about their savings, their Roth IRAs, their 401ks. I think of the Nine of Pentacles as one's nest egg. She's sitting there waiting for her garden to grow. I think of this as a 401k. And then the final outcome, real estate. This is a real estate card. So we could see people starting to diversify into real estate. I know I'm thinking about doing that as well. You could also, if you don't have the money for real estate, start investing in mutual funds, which are based on real estate, in order to diversify your portfolio, because real estate is the final outcome. This is just another way of people diversifying their savings. The Three of Swords is coming in over the Empress card. So if we do see a crash or disruption in the market, this could be why people are diversifying in the real estate. 10 of Wands, it's going to be harder to get the market or to make the money that we did before. 6 of Wands is moving in, and a 10 of Pentacles is an inheritance card. I think if people diversify their portfolios, and if they're frugal and they make sound decisions, they're going to be okay. They're going to be able to ride this out. There is some constriction happening, though, because you can see that Four of Pentacles in the 4th house, and people are going to have to be really smart with their investments. However, I do think, because the inheritance card and the real estate card came up, that if people are smart and they make reasonable decisions with their investments, they're probably going to be okay. All right, so that's the coming months. Yes, we're going to see a dip in the market. Oh, thank you very much, P Powers. $10 for Australia. Woohoo! Best part of the world, Australia. It's kind of interesting. I love the Pacific Northwest, which is looking west. And I like Sydney, Australia, which is the water looking east. Both, and it's very different energy, but they're both very beautiful. All right, so now it's time, that special time. Everybody gets to participate. We're going to go ahead and do blitzes. They last 5 minutes. Any question people want me to answer? That's how a blitz works. Obviously, first priority goes to our moderators. So what would people like us to look at? I know that people wanted us, last time we didn't get to it, but Nunes. Did I pronounce his name right? Nunes? The Senate. Okay. Russia. Mnuchin. Oh yeah, well, Deutsche Bank is interesting. There was, when I did a remote view on Deutsche Bank, there was a regular person that was a whistleblower, and there That's all I was able to find out about that. Mnuchin, yes, we're going to look at Mnuchin. Lindsey Graham, I think we should look at Lindsey Graham. All right, let's do this. Okay, we're starting with, what's Nunes' first name? Gavin? No, that's not right. What's does anybody remember what Nunes' first name is? RBG? Betsy DeVos. Yeah, the only one that survived was Betsy DeVos. Can you believe that? Woo! Thank you very much, everyman. It's very sweet of you. All right, what's going to be with Nunes? What is his name? What is Devon? Thank you. He had a weird name, Devon. I was saying Gavin. Devon. All right, let's look at the future of Devon Nunes. Don't you just love blitzes? What's going to be with Devon Nunes? What is the karmic outcome for Devon Nunes? When you go into the remote, he says that this is a smear campaign by the Democrats. Those are his exact words, smear campaign. Doesn't want to cooperate and may have to walk away. He's being asked to step down. He's being asked to step down, and he's being asked, he's in some trouble that first off, he's not going to cooperate. And secondly, he may have to leave because some kind of investigation is going on with Devon Nunes. His situation is changing very rapidly regarding an issue of money. He may have taken money. The legal system is above him. You can see the justice moving in. The self-examination, the Buddha card, the frugality card. This is somebody, look at his base cards. This is somebody that does not want to cooperate and may have to abandon or leave his current situation. I'm concerned for this individual because of a justice card moving in with a Four of Pentacles and this coin here. There's some kind of legal action I see here, and the person is hoarding or hiding or even attempting to hide their finances. They're strife-headed. They're going to have legal problems. Look at this, you guys. For those of you who are trying to be professional readers, you have the justice or courts coming in with a strife card crossing. And somebody's not cooperating. And then they walk away. Look at the two base cards. And then holding the coin. This can sometimes be hiding the coin. The King of Cups is the King of Hearts. A star card there, that's good. Hopes and fears that he'll be victorious. Queen of Cups. And then there's a Lover's card here. There's some kind of loving energy moving in for him. He's going to have to hand over information. You can see the Judge card moving in. He's already in some kind of legal investigation where he's got documents or information and hidden finances that are going to have to come out. Wow, what crazy cards he's got. But boy, look at that strife with the justice. And the fact that he was hiding his coin, and so it's almost like he got exposed and he's going to have no choice but to walk away and cooperate. Isn't that weird? I would not have expected that. All right, so I was asked now to look at the Senate. That was crazy. Did y'all see that? All right, so I was asked to look at the Senate now and how the Senate is going to respond to the hearing. So let's go back to the remote view from 2 years ago where I had a dream. And in the dream, I saw Lindsey Graham talking to President Trump. And in the dream, Lindsey Graham said to Mr. Trump, Mr. President, the duty has fallen on me to inform you that we have reached a consensus in the Senate. We give you the honor of resigning. They have to show the evidence if it gets to that point, right? They have no choice. The Senate has to do this. Whether they liked him or not. I think the saddest thing about being a remote viewer is how many times people are given an opportunity to change their ways and they just don't. I remember 2 years ago when I was gave that remote viewing, one of the people on the channel, one of the fans of the channel said, why would it have been Lindsey Graham? That doesn't even make any sense. Wouldn't it be Mitch McConnell? I don't know. I have to document the remotes, how I see the remotes. And it looks like Lindsey Graham has taken on the job of being an attorney for this president. It's very sad. It's very sad. All right, let's take a look at the Senate. What's going to be with the Senate? I like the way that Lindsey Graham worded it, the honor of resigning, showing respect to the office of the president. He's still sitting in that office, whether you like him or not, and that seems to be Lindsey Graham's feeling about it. It's going to be with the Senate. Right now, you have a Two of Swords. That there's a real resistance, and then you have an offer coming in. The Page of Cups is the healer's card. Hermes comes with healing. He brings the elixir. So some kind of offer of peace or healing is brought to a situation that starts off as a block. They're doing their work. This is the Master's card, Mastery. This is a really solid position. You know, Three of Wands, we always call that, we call that waiting for your ships to come in. It's also a wish card. The Ten of Cups is moving in. There's still some delusion or confusion with this Senate. You can see here the Moon card and the Seven of Cups. This concerns me because it suggests some delusion or some confusion. Also, I'm concerned about this Page of Pentacles in the past, which means that that there's a loyalty possibly to the people who have financed them, their constituents. I'm worried about this. But this action-reaction leads to the Moon, which is confusion, howling at the moon, and a wedding or a marriage to someone or something that leaves you in confusion. So they're still bound to their constituents to some extent. You can see here the truth coming out. The High Priestess moves in, the opening of the eyes, a new beginning, a new dawn in the Senate, new offers, and they have the goods on the president. Nine of Pentacles. Yeah, new contract. The evidence is pretty bad in strife. I don't think the president can survive in the Senate because of the amount of evidence that's being mounted against the president. Even if the Senate has compassion or likes this president or likes his policies, even though they are bound because they took money from their constituents and their constituents like this president, even though there's a Moon card in the near future, so they're going to their tactic is to create confusion and chaos. I still don't feel. And look at this, refusing to see the situation, complete denial. There's still something about an offer or opportunity coming to get this president out of it. And I think it's a resignation. whether or not he can, if they impeach him in the House, which they probably will, I don't know if he's going to resign before or after impeachment in the House. I don't know if he can survive the Senate hearings emotionally, psychologically. All right, we're going to look at Putin and Russia now and what will become of them because of the current situation right now where they're trying to get their oil out, their trade out. What is going to be with Putin and Russia? What is going to be with Putin and Russia? Base of the matter. The Emperor, logic, reason, daddy's home, and 5 of Swords, withdrawing from a war. So we're going to see the Russians probably pushed back, Iran pushed back. NATO is going to start pushing forward a little bit here. 5 of Swords means to retreat. Queen of Cups, 2 of Pentacles. It's interesting. When you go into this energy, it suggests that Putin compromised and blackmailed too many people, and it actually put him in a situation where a lot of people want to get rid of him. A lot of people that felt threatened, a lot of people, the coin going back and forth. He created, by compromising so many people, by threatening so many people, it's as if Putin created a lot of enemies. A judgment is coming down for Russia. An Ace of Swords is moving in, and a judgment. It's an interesting energy because even though there's some hostilities about how Putin handled himself and how he handled Russia, there's still a desire by the West to do legitimate business with Russia. It's over, or the Knight of Pentacles, things are stopped. So Putin was stopped. Remember the remote view that I did last year where I said as Donald Trump is being pulled out, Putin is trying to push in? Yeah, look at this. Things are falling apart for Putin. I don't know what happened. If people that were working with Putin it looks like people that were working with Putin defected. Yeah, jeez. 9 of Swords. People turned against Putin. He made too many enemies. He blackmailed too many people. They went to the intelligence agencies. This is what I'm seeing. And in effect, built a case against him. Julian Assange, other people that were blackmailed, he terrorized people to the point where eventually they turned to the West for help. I'm sorry to say, any Putin fans here, it's not going to go well for him. Additional sanctions, additional poverty. They're also going to close off money streams, hidden money streams. There'll be additional strife. There's no negotiating with him. He's going to have to leave. But the West still desires a relationship with Russia. It's just not going to be with Putin. Look at that. This is his outcome. All right, that was cool. Wouldn't want to be him. All right, let's do Mnuchin. I'm going as fast as I can. I know y'all had a lot of questions. I was away for a week. Mnuchin. What's going to be with Mnuchin? What is going to be with Mnuchin? New beginning and strife for Mnuchin. Things are going to get worse for Mnuchin, just because you've got a 5 of Wands, which is battling or debate, a conflict with others. There's a new battle. Basically, that's how I would interpret it. Thank you, Catherine Bush. That is very, very kind of you. You know, we talk about the Queen of Wands as stubborn, my way or the highway. This is back in the days when instead of a gavel, the judge has a small gavel now, but it comes from originally the judges would have a large stick and they would pound it on the ground to establish authority. And that became the small stick that the judge now uses in court. So, you know, this is somebody who's continuing to resist. That would be my, oh, there's a 6 of Pentacles moving in. Yeah, this is a resistance. 2 of Swords. This is someone who definitely is not wanting to cooperate. Six of Pentacles, Master. Bound to the devil. Unhealthy relationships. To be honest with you, when I go into this energy, it's like Mnuchin. It feels that he's between a rock and a hard place. He doesn't know. It's almost like he's afraid to cooperate because he's afraid he'll get in trouble with the president, and he's afraid to not cooperate. And so it's as if someone's going to offer him an out, some way that he can get out of this, because he's concerned about his own legal trouble. And I think he's going to try and hold on as long as he can. But you can see the taxes get turned over. There's a Page of Pentacles. It appears the best interpretation I would have of these cards is that the problem is going to be taken out of Mnuchin's hand. I don't see him in serious legal trouble because he honestly doesn't know what to do. That's how he's arguing it. Whether you like him or not, or his policies or not, his argument is, I don't know what to do. You know, so some force comes in and basically takes the burden away from him. So I think it's probably going to be SCOTUS or SDNY, but the problem is taken away from him. He doesn't cooperate because he doesn't want to go against the president, but the problem is taken away from him. That's the best way for me to interpret it. Okay, we're going to do Lindsey Graham now. Is everybody having fun? Yeah? Yes, I agree. I agree, Llama. Sunny Florida. Hello, Connie. And you are a cat mama. So am I. I don't know about that, if there was a whistleblower. Yeah, we're positive here. You know, I'm like a modern Buddhist. I just want everyone to not suffer. Okay, what is going to be with Lindsey Graham? Was he compromised? What's going on with Lindsey Graham? What is going on with Lindsey Graham? Oh, the Fool takes a leap of faith, but there's a 4 of Pentacles there. You know, it's interesting. As far as Lindsey Graham is concerned, the reason why he's looking into the Biden investigation is he's saying it's not because he wants to attack Biden, but that he's obligated to do so because of the accusations that have been made. And so he has to stand back objectively and let's just look at it. So he is telling himself that his constituents, the community he comes from would be highly critical if he didn't do this. And so that's why he's doing it. The great negotiator, right? Mediator, the mediator. This is why we saw him in the remote 2 years ago. He's the one that has placed himself in the position of mediating a deal for this president. Look at this. The lover card, the negotiator card, fool takes a leap of faith, examines. He's trying to protect the president. He's going to stay with this president until the president gives up the fight. You see a 5 of Swords in the 4th house. He's waiting on more documents. 3 of Wands is moving in, walking away. The president doesn't want to do it anymore. The sun is coming out. The fact that there's a 5 of Swords in the 4th house, it just feels to me like Trump doesn't want to fight anymore. And the 7 of, or the 8 of Cups in the 1st house, there's the offer again. The offer to Trump. It's the same thing again. Hopes and fears, 6 of Swords, and then the offer. I think that Trump's exhausted, and I think his health is not that great anymore. He's feeling his age. When you take certain types of medications, they can create feelings of euphoria. They can create feelings like you've got a lot of energy, but it's a fake energy. It's not real. It's just synthetically produced. So when you take away those medications, you start to feel your real age. If you're physically exhausted because you haven't been sleeping for 20 years, you're going to start feeling it. If you don't have certain medications that are going to help you sleep and you've got a sleep disruption, you're going to start feeling it. And so that's really how it feels to be in Donald Trump's energy right now. I just don't feel good. I don't have the energy. I don't have the drive without certain help, whether it's certain drugs, certain medications. Without that, it's like his mojo is gone. That's the best way to describe it. It's like Trump's mojo is gone. And he may choose to leave. But Lindsey Graham's energy is interesting because he speaks about it as, this is what my constituents expect me to do. They expect me to investigate Biden. It's not that I have any ill will against Biden. It's that I'm being told I have to do this because it's my job to do it. It's because my constituents expect it from me. That's his argument. Let's look at RBG's health. What's going on with RBG's health? How is she doing? Fool and the Temperance card, 2 beautiful major arcana cards. Fool takes the leap of faith. She's back in. And negotiations, the Temperance card. Working well with others. She had a health crisis, definitely. You can see the Tower is right over her. Going into smoother waters. Yeah, she got sick. There was some kind of a health challenge here or some kind of issue that happened. The Tower right over her. But you can see the 6 of Swords moving in, going into smoother waters. And then the 4 of Wands feeling better. A 4 of Wands can also be a spring card. Ace of Pentacles in the 3rd house. She wants to get back to work. She has a very good relationship with her family. Yeah, she's having a rough time right now. You can see the 3 of Swords also in the 7th house. Here's the final outcome. No, I still see her working. She really is a mentor. You know, it's really, really interesting. Yeah, she's following the money, boy. She's also looking at money and she's investigating certain cases. This Thief's card's coming in. I need to clarify that. Confusion. She will probably retire soon, I'm sorry to say. but we might be able to see her. I think I'm going to predict that she could retire as early as spring of 2020 because of this 2 of Cups and this 4 of Wands moving in. But this lineup, this clarification suggests that she's probably going to be retiring soon. The Supreme Court is an amazing place, and it's cool to go into the remotes for the Supreme Court. When you are a new judge on the Supreme Court, something happens very organically, which is that you try to find a mentor or somebody that can guide you through the process. And RBG has been a mentor for many new SCOTUSes. And it's just kind of interesting that even Kavanaugh has become a mentee of RBG. It's something that happens very organically. You can't manufacture it. Whoever gets on the Supreme Court is just naturally going to move towards the person that they feel is the best mentor for them. And for whatever reason, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, for reasons that I can't understand, became the mentor for Kavanaugh. And quite a bit has been written about it, actually. And perhaps it's because he wants to prove something. It's quite possible. When I go into the remote view, he sits to the right of her. So it's interesting to see that he really is trying to work closely with her. I don't know what will come of it, but that's what I see in the remotes. We could see her retiring as early as this spring, I'm sorry to say. All right, we're going to go over because I often will not get to everybody, but I will do Betsy DeVos because I didn't do Betsy DeVos last time. All right, the future of Betsy DeVos. DeVos? What is going to be with Betsy DeVos? Oy, she really messed things up. She says it's not entirely her fault. She's being given no budget to work with. Ace of Wands, it's over. She feels like she's between a rock and a hard place, that they had cut the budget so much that she only had a small, they literally starved out the education budget. She has very little to work with right now. Completely confused, moon card and hanging it up. You can see the Knight of Pentacles moving in and the Hanged Man crossing the moon card. She's not happy there. A new contract coming in for her. Karma, I think her time there is coming to an end. Yeah, she's moving on. You can see cards about movement, the Chariot's coming in, a new contract or a new opportunity somewhere else, hanging up a situation she's confused about, 3 of Swords in the 3rd house, and then pushing through with a Knight of Pentacles, which is a stopgap, or there's a stop happening, there's conflict. She felt she couldn't do her job. There's also confusion. She's looking elsewhere. 7 of Cups. All right. That was so much fun. Did we get to every single question? Yeah? Yeah, I don't see these people going to jail or anything like that. It's more like they felt that this was what they were hired to do. DeVos actually has a point. If they give you no money, then something has to be cut. And so that's a legitimate argument. She's not the one that makes the budget. I don't particularly think she's good for that job, but I can understand that argument. All right, thank you, everyone. If you're still trying to get in for a reading next week, I have openings. Woohoo! So please reach out to me if you'd like to get a phone reading. If you're coming into the office, just leave me a note saying, I'm coming into the office, and then I will wait for you at the office here in Los Angeles. You can go to Tarot with Whimsy, WHIMSY.com if you'd like to make an appointment. And yes, we do have gift cards if you are trying to buy gift cards for your friends, family, etc. for the holidays. Thank you, everyone who did a super chat. I'm very grateful. Thank you to everybody who's been donating to the trees and the other charities. We've raised thousands of dollars for charity here on this channel, and I'm grateful that we could all come together as a community and do that. Be well, everyone. Stay safe, and I guess I'll see you soon. Bye.